Ladies, if you're going to strike, strike. Sign the deal. If not, at least move closer to what the owners want. Because right now, that middle ground that you're sitting in is dangerous. Hey family, Racist here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because over here, we don't do hype. We do perspective. Now today, we need to talk about this new WNBA CBA proposal, okay? Because whether people like it or not, this is the moment. It's not next month. It's not next season. It's not after one more meeting. It's right now. That clock is ticking, and hesitation is going to cost money. And we're going to talk about it. Now, according to the AP, the league sent over a new proposal. And you heard the phrases, right? Small increases, minor concessions. Let me translate that for you. All right? Ownership is basically saying, we'll move, but we're not going to give up our control. Yeah, they bumped up the revenue sharing slightly, right? They raised the cap to $5.65 million, and they adjusted for housing, but that's about it. No 30% gross revenue share, no $10.5 million salary cap, no systemic system overhaul. This is what is called a controlled concession, okay? Just enough to keep talks alive, but not enough to shift power. Because owners don't play checkers, they play chess. Now, let's talk about the real war, right? Gross versus net. This is where everything breaks down. Because the players, they want 30% of the gross. They want to get paid first, before expenses. And the owners, hey, they say that we'll give you 70% of the net after expenses. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Nobody is saying this. Who controls the expenses? The league. Who defines net? The league. Who writes the accounting rules? You guessed it, the league. So this isn't just math. This is authority. This is power. This is about who controls the books. And right now, the power sits with ownership. Now, to be fair, the housing offer does matter. It's a real thing, right? 1 bedrooms for rookies and minimum players, 3 years guaranteed, trade protection, support for developmental players. That's stability. That's safety. And that's quality of life, okay? So no, the owners didn't give nothing. They did give something meaningful, right? But they gave it strategically. They made the deal harder for the players to walk away from. And that's not evil. That's smart business. Now, here's what people aren't talking about, right? The delay. Every delay costs money. Free agency delayed, expansion delayed, Toronto, they're waiting, Portland waiting, right? Sponsors watching, media watching, fans, they getting fatigued. Uncertainty kills growth. Money doesn't like chaos. And when instability shows up, investment leaves. And it does so quietly. And when it leaves, it's no guarantee that it's going to come back the same way. Time isn't neutral. Time is expensive. You've heard that saying, right? Time is money. Well, it's that. So right now, the players, they are in the worst possible position, and they don't even know it. The worst place. No strike, no deal, right? Not signing, not striking, just floating. And floating is dangerous, right? If you're not striking, the owners aren't scared. If you're not signing, the money isn't flowing, so everybody waits. And waiting does what? It kills momentum. And if you like driving, you know, it's like driving with the gas light on, right? You could keep going, but you know what? Pretty soon, you ain't gonna be able to do that long, right? You're gonna run out of gas. Eventually, you're gonna be stuck somewhere. And probably somewhere you don't want to be, like on the expressway or like some bad hood and they got graffiti and people walking around and all. Exactly, right? So yeah, you want to make sure that when you're traveling, that you got some gas in your car. But anyway, let me be clear about this. I respect labor power, right? Always. Unions matter. Collective action matters. But a strike only works when the deal is real, right? Not hinted, not teased, not tweeted, but executed. And billionaires, they don't panic. They wait. They have reserves. But most of them players, they don't have that. And that's not disrespect. That's economics, right? And let's be honest about this, right? Most players can't afford a long war. They can't do it. Maybe only 10 to 15 players can miss a season comfortably, right? Everybody else, they need that check. They need them benefits. They need those reps, right? They need the roster spot. And a long delay going to end careers. And they're going to do so quietly. No goodbye post, no tribute, no press release. Just poof, gone. And that's reality, right? Now, this proposal, ownership is saying, right? We're ready to finish the deal if you're realistic. And now the union is in their court. They got 3 options. They can accept the deal, lock in the progress they got now, and then build leverage later for the next CBA, right? Or they can counter with something that's more palatable, let me say it right, palatable for the owners, right? Something that's more workable, right? Or they can strike and do so, full stop, right? Fully, seriously, long term, right? Be ready to take it to antitrust, antitrust stuff, right? Decertifying the union, filing a class action antitrust lawsuit. They got to be ready to do that. If you're going to strike, you got to be ready to do that. You got to be ready to go all the way. And that's the only way the ladies are going to find out what the owners can really do, because they're not going to want to do that. They're not going to want to go to court, right? They're not going to want to do that. Even though if they do, it's not going to impact them like that, to be honest with you, because they're not a monopoly, right? So we could talk about that in another episode. So family, this middle ground, this slow bleed, this wait and see approach, that's the worst option of all, because business is business. Indecision is defeat, right? So, you heard me. This is a racer. I said what I said and I stand on it. Be blessed.